when I talk to voters, when I'm out in the community talking, they all tell me, and you guys probably feel the same way, they're so sick and tired of the fighting. But the thing about Kansas is, we have a government that's completely dominated, and it's a red, red state. Okay? This is a Republican state. We know that. Kansas has a history, though, of having Republicans like Eisenhower, Bob Dole, Nancy Kassebaum. Those are names we all know. See, those Republicans worked across the table with their Democratic counterparts. And it's why our state has functioned so well for so many years. It's why our farmers have survived. It's why our schools in Johnson County are so solid. But in 2010, that changed. Because we have a governor who came into office who had a view. It's my way or the highway. This was probably made the most apparent, and I don't know if any of you paid attention to the primaries. But the Republican primaries back in August, just a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, was characterized by the governor and the far right in this state going after moderate Republicans, a lot of them incumbents who had been in office for years. They went after them because we had Republicans in the Senate who dared to defy the governor and say, no, you know what, I don't agree with that, I don't think that's a good idea. What that meant to Governor Brownback was you need to be eliminated. If you don't agree with me, I want you gone. And so a lot of Kansas voters don't realize right now that there's a civil war going on within the Republican Party. Democrats like me, we're sitting back going, please let us get into the fray. We want to help. We want to join forces. Okay? Because we need to work together. The problem is after the primary, there are very few moderate Republicans left standing. My opponent, Charles Macheers, he benefited from all of the attack ads that went on in August. And he defeated a very strong, dynamic young woman, a Republican woman named Stephanie Meyer. He defeated her by going after her and accusing her of being anti-life because she wasn't endorsed by the anti-abortion group Kansans for Life. I know these things because I've spoken with Stephanie. And Stephanie shared a story with me. You know, Mr. Macheers claims to be a man who could be a responsible representative for us. But Stephanie was in her driveway one day, and he came up to her, and he was canvassing. This is a few months or a few weeks before the primary, and asked her to vote for him, and told her that his opponent, Stephanie Meyer, is a horrible, horrible person. Just ask anybody. But here's the rub. He didn't know who he was talking to. And Stephanie told me she was standing there looking in his face thinking, this is unbelievable. This guy has no idea I'm the woman he's running against. So I share this story because I think Mr. Macheers shares a lot of characteristics of some of these Republicans that are left standing after the primary. They lack leadership skills, and even more than that, they lack common sense. As for common sense, okay, a lot of these are candidates who follow the governor lock, stock, and barrel. The governor just announced this week that he's created a task force to look into education in the state of Kansas and funding for it. The problem with the task force is Governor Brownback didn't ask a single educator to be on it. It's all accountants. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a women's health care panel that doesn't include a single woman. Governor Brownback believes that we need to be teaching creationism in our science classrooms. His followers also believe that our classroom sizes can balloon into the 30s and that would be okay. Are there any educators in the room? Educator? I know some of you have worked in schools before, okay? Jim Denning is running for the state senate in the Olathe area, and he just defeated Tim Owens. Tim Owens was the Republican majority Senate leader for years, a respected figure in the Republican Party. I knew Tim as a probation officer when he was an attorney. He was defeated in his bloodbath during the primaries. I heard Jim Denning during a radio interview with Steve Kraske this summer, and he was asked about the cuts that are going to come to education because of Governor Brownback. And Denning said, I was in the car screaming when I heard this. Denning said, you know, I think our class sizes could get into the 30s, and that would be fine. You know, we'll just get some pairs in there to help if there's any problems. How many of you would like to see Denning trying to corral a first grade classroom of 35 students? Oh, it might be kind of funny to watch, huh? You see, none of these things make sense. None of the things that they're saying and they're proposing make sense. Kansas is currently ruled by a governor who makes his decisions based on his religious beliefs and on his feelings. And this brings me back to why I'm running for office in Kansas. I already shared a little bit about my professional background and my ability to look at facts and to take that information to make positive and needed recommendations before the court. But I also think I have a pretty solid head on my shoulders, and more than that, I have a little bit of common sense. You know, ladies, Kansas is at an impasse right now with regard to where our state is going to go. And this is probably the most significant thing Governor Brownback wants to do, and this is why we need to pay attention and we need to share this with people. He wants to single-handedly handpick our state Supreme Court judges and our appellate judges. In order to be able to do that, he has to have a legislature and a Senate that will allow him by writing the bill and passing it to his desk. Currently, those judges are chosen by a panel of legal guys and gals who look at the full background of the candidates, at their legal background. He wants to handpick extreme right-believing judges and put them in those positions. Now see, he's already got control of the executive branch of the government because he's the governor. He most likely is going to have control of the legislative branch, depending upon the outcome of these elections in November. And if he gets who he wants in office in the Senate and in the House, he will then have all the power to have the judicial control as well. We will have a governor who has complete control over every single law that happens in the state of Kansas. There will be no checks and balances. The teeter-totter will look like this, and there will be nobody working across the aisle and sharing varying ideas and varying views. It's going to be Sam Brownback's way or the highway. You guys can keep this from happening. You can use your voices. You can talk to your neighbors, your friends, your family. Talk to teachers. There are still teachers out there who have no idea what's coming for education. Let them know we have a governor who doesn't want to hear their voice. We have a governor who thinks a classroom of 35 is okay. Talk to your neighbors. Let them know that our property taxes, which are some of the highest in the country, if you live in Western Shawnee, you know that. The only way our community is going to be able to offset cuts to education is to increase our property taxes even more. Let your neighbors know this. Above all, the only way to prevent Governor Brownback from having complete control, and I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Barack Obama or if it's Governor Sebelius. I don't believe that any one leader should have that much power over everything that happens legally within their state. The only way to prevent him from having complete control is to vote against his staunch supporters that are still in the running in November. You know, those are the races that we actually have some control over, guys. You know, the national election, it's apples and oranges. Okay, Kansas is a red state. Our electoral votes are going to go to Mitt Romney. That's not a surprise. But you can control what happens in your own backyard. And it is so very important for Kansas voters to pay attention to these House and these Senate races, more than ever before. If you talk to people, we can make a difference in Topeka. You can make a difference in Topeka. I want to end with a brief little story. You guys have been great for listening to me as I've gone on and on. But I have a voicemail message on my phone that was left for me in May by my good friend Barb Kemp when I decided to run for office. I'm not sure if you even remember this. In this message, she said, you know, I've been thinking about what you told me about you wanting to run for office, and I think you ought to do it. I know a whole bunch of reasons why you ought to do it, but I really think you ought to do it, Marlys. We don't grow unless we take risks. And she said, if you don't win, you still gain. You gain because of all the experience and the knowledge that you get. So I hope you're working on doing this, and I will support you in everything that you do with it. And you know, she's right. If we don't take risks, we don't gain and we don't grow. So I'm asking you guys, we have a month before this election, and it's not just my campaign. It's all of the different Democrats and the few moderate Republicans that are left standing in Johnson County that are running. There are a couple, and I'll tell you who they are when this is over if you want to know, okay? It's not a Democrat-Republican thing. It's a Democrats and Republicans and the extreme right over here, okay? But you guys can make a difference. So I'm asking you, help me grow, take a risk, talk to your family and friends, get your voice out there, talk to people. And together, maybe at the end of the day we can make a difference in Kansas. So I really thank you guys for listening to me. I thank you so much for coming tonight. There's going to be a fun debate. If you want to watch that later, come on over to my house. We're going to take the wine and we're going to take the food and go on down to Monticello Farms. And we can keep talking if you guys want. I'll talk shop all day long. I love politics. Anyway, thank you guys. You're a great crowd.